Hi, I'm Natalie Rydstrom, and you're watching Sportsbook Review's World Cup coverage. And I tell you what, we're talking futures and props now headed into the quarterfinals. We lost one of our favorites, Spain, at the hands of Russia. Brazil still the favorites at this point in the game, but they faced Belgium. First of all, I want to welcome Nigel Seeley and Big Man on campus to discuss. We did a video last week, so it's nice to sort of continue this conversation. First of all, Nigel, I know that you were on Spain. You liked Spain. They're out. Do you have a new favorite?
Yeah, they were one of my picks, along with Uruguay and Croatia. So I've still got two in the competition, and obviously I've got my emotional hedge, which is England, which is worth more than any money I could ever possibly win if England win the World Cup, which is fantastic. So yeah, it was. I was very shocked by that. I mean, I think everybody was shocked by that. The Russian performance was, well, the Spain performance. They never turned up. And Russia are going to be a tough nut to crack in this competition, I believe. And Brazil are getting better and better, which is quite an ominous sign. I wanted to take them on. I still want to take them on, and we'll come on for the reasons later. France, I wasn't quite sure about, but I'm happy with where I am. I still think I've got some two good value plays in Uruguay and Croatia. And obviously my beloved England is still there as well, so I'm quite happy.
Okay. Now, Big Man, Belgium has been our dark horse. I have to say, if, going for the value, they're priced 8. They've got a tough match against Brazil. We previewed this match together, and you're liking Belgium to qualify. So Belgium at the price of 8 now. For those who haven't taken it, should we consider it?
Yeah, I mean, I still think there's value in taking Belgium. I mean, look, they're going to have to take care of business. You're going to have to beat big, good teams in this tournament. It just is what it is. Unfortunately, we can't all be like England and be on the side with, a bunch of minnow nations on one side and bigs on the other. Belgium's going to have to take care of it the tough way, and I guess they'll have to face England in the final and show them what's up. But yeah, look, overall, I'm happy with the number I got with Belgium. This is a tough game. I mean, it is what it is. Like I said, you have to beat bad teams to win a title. Yeah, I mean, I think it's still worthy to get in on. I mean, we can get a number like that. Same with Uruguay. I mean, if you fancy them to beat France, you think Cavani's going to play, 17's a pretty hefty price right now.
Yeah. I just saw a comment as well. Uruguay to win the World Cup at 17. Nigel, there's certainly a lot of value in that. Can they make it all the way?
They certainly can. I mean, we spoke about in the last round. I think they're the team that has always offered the most value in the outright market since the tournament began, and I still think they are. I mean, obviously, England have got that easy draw, as we've mentioned, but England are like 4-1 to win this World Cup, and Uruguay like 14-1. Are Uruguay really England 3 times better than Uruguay? I mean, there's 6 players I can think of, 7 players in the Uruguay side who walk into the England team. So they've got to go through. They've got to go through some very, very tough opposition. I think that France game is a really, really intriguing match. I'm sure we'll come on to that game in a second. But I think we're at the point now where any team in this competition really believes they're going to win the World Cup and they've got momentum. Russia are coming on the back of a penalty shootout against Spain. I'm over here in England where everyone thinks we can win a World Cup. What must it be like in Russia? I mean, they were the worst team ever to host the competition. They're in the quarterfinals and at home momentum. So this is really, really tough. I mean, at the very beginning of the tournament, we had big angles, we had big views. And, I'm very one of these people who are very conscious of, giving staking plans. I think staking plans are very important in betting. Now we're at the end of the tournament where there is really, really hard. It's very, very hard to find bets that you would turn around and say, these are my 10 out of 10 bets. And there are group stages, yeah, easy. But now, I think it's really difficult, and I think we're going to a point now where I would rather be a bookmaker than a punter because, what this tournament so far has been a bookmaker's benevolent fund. But I think we've got some great matchups, and there is a few angles to look for, but it's very difficult. So if you're coming new to this show for the first time and you're tuning in now, please do not think that we're giving you the advice that we want. But I would keep bets very, very tight because we're at the business end of a competition where Ricks are very hard to find.
Yeah. I have to say, I'm liking Belgium at the moment, but they do have a tough match against Brazil. Like I said, I previewed it with Big Man. Big Man likes Belgium to qualify. I like that bet as well. I like both teams to score there. But a lot of people are fancying Brazil. Do you think Belgium How did Belgium look, obviously playing against Japan, coming into this match? Obviously, those 3 goals, 2 goals in the later minutes. Are they filled with confidence coming into this match with Brazil? Because really, Brazil will be Belgium's biggest hurdle.
Well, without a question. And the thing is, both these sides offer a goal threat. They have a huge goal threat. So I think, at this time of the tournament, I always like to be an unders back. I like to be backing both teams to score. No, I like picking under 2.5. But this game, I think you can throw it out completely out. This is goals.
Yeah.
I think the first half will be quite cagey. What you want as a neutral in this game is an early goal. If we get an early goal either way, we could have one of the World Cup classics. I really do think this could be an end-to-end thriller because both sides only know how to play one way. They don't know how to play any other way. And I think they match up each other perfectly. Brazil are the favourites because their name is Brazil. That's the only reason they're strong favourites like they are. Belgium are the team that everybody expects to click, but they've failed to do so in competitions like this before. They've got to I think the last World Cup, did they get beat by Argentina in the last World Cup? Off memory, I'm sure they got beat by Argentina in a similar kind of stage, last 16. But in a knockout stage. But the thing is here, I think this is going to be a brilliant football match. I think it's going to run for the purists. I think both teams will score definitely.
Yeah.
I can see a 2-2 draw or something like that. And what's happened in both these two sides is matches recently is they've both come on really strong in the second half. They've been pretty poor in the first half. Brazil beat Costa Rica with 2 late goals. Belgium scored 3 goals late against Japan. So they're fit. They're peaking at the right time. And I think we could be really in for a World Cup Classic. I'm not going to say which way the game is going to go, but I'm going to go for both teams to score in this game, which is very unusual for me in a World Cup quarterfinal to suggest that bet. But I just cannot see anything other than goals in this match.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think we were on the same page there, weren't we, Big Man? And just quickly, because again, I was with Big Man. If you guys are watching this after the live show, we've got clips of these videos over on our YouTube channel. Uruguay versus France. Obviously, Uruguay's got some key players which are possibly ruled out. Big Man sort of being on, is going to wait until he sees the starting lineup. Do you have any early plays, or are you sort of on the same sort of line of thought as Big Man?
I think the value is in Uruguay, like we said. I mean, Uruguay kept 10 clean sheets in their last 13 matches, which is phenomenal, and it shows you where their strength is at. If Cavani missing, that's a huge blow. I mean, that is absolutely massive blow. If he plays, I don't think France will like playing them. And France are a young, emerging team, bags of talent, bags of youth exuberance. But Uruguay are the old, hardened professionals, and these boys know they're going to be in for a game. I think France were brilliant to score 4 goals against Argentina, but alarming they conceded 3, which is a big concern for me. I think all the values on Uruguay in this game. I haven't been convinced at all by France. I know they did play well in patches against Argentina, but conceding 3 goals is a concern. So I want to be of Uruguay plus a half here. And if Cavani plays, it would be a much bigger bet for me rather than now. At the moment, I'm leaning to that. That's the way I'm leaning towards, Uruguay plus a half. If Cavani plays, that's definitely the way I want to be, Uruguay plus a half, because I think it's hard to score them. And those Mbappe up against those 2 defenders, it'll be a real match, real hard, real tough South American defenders against the emerging talent in world football. It'll be a great game. But I'm going to go for Uruguay plus a half.
Yeah, do for our viewers there, do follow both Jeff Nadu and Seeley_Nigel on Twitter to see if they've got some plays when we see the starting lineup. Just quickly moving over to Sweden versus England, and Big Man, I'm speaking with Nigel, Martin, Stuart. They're all from England. I would probably think that your heart is not in this one. It's the same way us sort of English people are. England priced 1.9. The English betting public have brought that price down. Do you think England can win this, or are you sort of on this consensus that it's a close, cagey match? What are your thoughts on the outright?
Natalie, I'm ashamed almost. I almost thought you thought of me as an honorary Englishman.
I'm honorary, yes. Honorary, of course I do. Of course I do. Part of the Premier League punters team. But you know what I mean? It's like England, our hearts are so into it.
No, I obviously don't have that here in this. I got to tell you, Natalie, I think I'm very happy that you guys have went so far, and I'm proud, and I hope you win. But I think you've been incredibly lucky in this tournament. I thought England played terribly, I thought, against Colombia without James Rodriguez. I thought the set pieces were horrendous. I thought the late goal was obviously poor. But look, you got to find ways to win. And I think one thing that England is dispelling is that thing that they can't win. They can't win big games. They've slowly been able to do that, and I got to give them credit. I think Sweden will be a tough challenge for them. The Swedish are big, hulking, tough guys. They're not going to be worried about the stage that they're at here. They've been able to do it. They've heard how they can't win without Ibrahimovic, and they've been able to win without Ibrahimovic. So I think it's going to be a low-scoring match. I think England will find a way. But listen, the game that we're all kind of setting our sights on is Russia or England, Croatia, if we can get it. I think that's going to decide, obviously. We all know who's going to go to the final. They're the two best teams left. I think England will win, but I don't think it's going to be easy.
All right. So you think England will qualify from that match and progress further? Nigel, I think you were thinking that England can progress, or is your heart too much in this one?
Well, I mean, I like I've told you loads of times about me. I mean, I'm not really a biggest England backer. My children hate me because they turn around and say to me, "Dad, you never bet England," and the reason why is because I've had so many heartaches and so. But I am the proudest Englishman you'll ever come across in your whole life. I absolutely love England football team, and I know what it would mean to this country to actually win the World Cup or get to a World Cup final. It would just be everything. It's what I never expected it in my lifetime. What I saw from that team last night, I saw confidence. For the first time in a long time, I saw an England side that they thought they had that game won at 1-0. And I agree with Big Man. I thought they thought they're not going to hurt us, and they got caught by the sucker punch. But England teams in the past would have come back and folded from that. They wouldn't have been able to come back. They would have lost an extra time. They would have lost their heads. They had a manager who spoke to them calmly, who's been in that position, who's taken a penalty, that's missed it. And the confidence of these players to step up when they know the expectation of a nation is on them. And the expectation of England players is more than probably any other team, probably apart from Brazil, in world football. And to see a kid like Marcus Rashford, who's 20 years of age, put that ball away with a style, and Harry Kane and Trippier. These kids are 21 years old. We're the youngest team. That gave me huge belief that the thing is they actually, for the first time in a long time, believe that they can win it. And I'm a massive believer in sport. That if you think you in anything you do in life, if you're a handicapper, if you work in your job, if you walk down the street with confidence and arrogance, verging on arrogance, but confidence that you are the best at something, then you win. And I think English sport for years and years hasn't had that arrogance. It's always been Americans who've had that sort of cockiness and arrogance that people have said, well, they're American. Australians have picked it up. But this boys actually believe they win, and they got tested last night. Teams from years ago, when they got a kick, David Beckham got sent off against Argentina when he got under the same kind of pressure that Raheem Sterling was. They kept their heads. They got ready. And you know what? I think they don't fear anybody. Nobody will want to play England. England do not fear anyone. And that is because those players walk on the pitch and they're winners. Domestically, they're winners. Internationally, for under 20, under 19 level, they're winners. This game, however, I think will be it's going to be another slog. It's going to be very tough. Do not underestimate. We haven't beaten Sweden in 30 years, or once in 30 years, I think it was. And I'm telling you something now, Sweden are very hard to score against. I heard a radio interview in London where Sven-Göran Eriksson, the former manager of England, who's Swedish, said it's easier to score against Brazil than it is against Sweden. And he's absolutely bang correct. They are organised. They are professional. They're physical. They're strong. Harry Maguire up front and all those set pieces, they won't have it like they did against Panama. They will be marked. There'll be 6'6" guys on them. And this, to me, looks like another real nervy night. It looks to me like a 0-0 draw. I think unders is a great bet. England may nick it 1-0. Sweden will be delighted with a 0-0 draw, I think. I think they'll try to hit England on the counter-attack. But under the goals is definitely the way to play. Yeah. But what I saw from that penalty shootout now, England will not be worried about that, and they'll get stronger. So I think England will probably progress to the semi-finals. But believe you me, this is not going to be anywhere easy as what you think. No chance. 0-0.
Yeah. All right. So I'm on England, but I think my heart's saying that England's to qualify. Russia versus Croatia. Like Big Man was saying, that's the match. Russia obviously has been sort of quite a surprise. They beat Spain. They're here now against Croatia. They're priced along 4. Is this where Russia's luck runs out? Who do you predict to qualify in that match? Russia, Croatia, Big Man.
Croatia. I think Nigel and I would both agree that, we're going to look at Croatia, and they had their bogey game. They didn't play well in that last game against Denmark, or not Denmark. Who who did Croatia play in the last game? I'm always drawing a blank on who they played. Who did Croatia play in the last
They
game?
played Denmark.
Denmark. Yeah.
Schmeichel.
1-1.
Yeah, Denmark. Right. I was right.
So many I know I do the same sometimes. There's so many matches. You're like, but yeah, go on.
Right. No, I think the one thing with Russia and that Spain game that I didn't quite understand was I didn't understand the game plan for Spain, the tactics. They kind of just toyed with the ball, up towards the halfway line. They didn't really go at Russia. Didn't even seem like they really wanted to score. I didn't quite understand it. There were few attempts. I think Croatia's midfield will be much more active going forward. I think you got to take it to Russia. They have old defenders. The goalkeeper's a concern at times. I think Croatia is much more clinical, much better than Russia. I think that midfield is among the best we have. Mandzukic is very good up front. I think Subasic proved his worth the other day as well. He was very good against the Danish. For me, I think this is a lot like the Nigeria game for Croatia. I think it'll be a clinical, easy 2-0 win. I know Russia, we want to sell that they're this really good side, but I just didn't understand Spain. I don't understand their game plan. Croatia will go forward. They won't sit back and screw around with the ball. I think Croatia wins. I think it's 2-0.
Yeah, we've got Hussein Dashti says Russia's luck will come to an end. Croatia -1. All right, so big man's on Croatia to qualify, and I'm guessing you're on Croatia to qualify as well. As Russia's luck come to an end, Nigel?
I think Croatia will get through, but I think this is going to be very difficult. I think, obviously, being a home country in a World Cup is a huge factor, and and if they're embracing this competition like I'm reading, they're embracing this. It's going to be an intimidating place for Croatia. The atmosphere there is going to be electric, and World Cup quarterfinal, Russia involved in it. No one would have expected it. I think Croatia probably have got the quality. But my only reservation with Croatia is they've been into quarterfinals before and got to the knockout stage before, and they've never shown their true potential. They've always just sort of failed. And I'm dreading, I'll be 100% honest with you, Natalie, and I'll tell you 100%. I had £20 on Croatia to win the World Cup at 66-1. And I've done it 2 months ago when I mentioned them. The first bet I ever mentioned on this show with Big Man and Alex, I said Croatia a bet at 60-1. I had £20 of them. And I had £20 again at 55-1. So if Croatia win the World Cup, I stand to win about £2,500, right? The worst thing I want is Croatia v England in a World Cup semi-final. That to me is just like the worst case scenario I could possibly ever have. I cannot go to watch that game with my family and my friends and cheering it, because I will guarantee you 100%. If Croatia win this game, I'm cashing out.
Oh, really?
And I will be painting my face back to England. I can't do it.
Because you don't want Croatia, Uruguay.
No, I don't want Croatia, England in that semi-final. I don't want to be financially cheering England on what potentially will be the biggest day of my life.
Right.
In 50 years' time, people will say to me, "Oh, do you remember when England got to the World Cup final?" And I turn around and say, "Oh yeah, I was cheering Croatia because I stood to win $2,500." I don't want to be that. I want to enjoy the experience. So I'm going to cash out. But I think this will be close. I think it's going to be very, very close. Again, I'm looking at the unders. Again, I think 1-0, 1-1, 0-0 could be a thing. And I know Croatia the other night, they played against Denmark. They went 1-0 behind and they scored straight away. They scored within 5 minutes. But it didn't really show much. I thought they could have kicked on and gone and won that game 2-3-1. I don't know if Big Man would have thought the same as well. But they never did anything. And I was really disappointed with them. I thought, the Croatians could have took them and 1-2. But they seemed to be happy with the 1-1. It got to penalties. They rode their luck a little bit. Both teams rode their luck. But Croatia once you go 1-0 down in a match after 3 minutes and you equalise after 7 minutes, you should go on and win 2-3-1. The momentum's with you. And they never did it. And that really did I thought to myself, have they really got that desire and that hunger to win this tournament? Are they the Croatian side who just come out of the war many years ago that come through that fighting desire? Are these boys? I don't know. And I was slightly sort of put off by that performance. And I thought Russia now coming into a quarter-final will have the support. So I was slightly tending towards to go for Russia plus a half. I think the draw's a good runner here. But for me, I'm going under 2.5 goals again.
Right.
Russia certainly are the better side, certainly should win it, but have will that home swing, the home momentum, take Russia through another stage when they shouldn't get through? I'm quietly concerned.
All right. Who do you have in the finalists there, Nigel?
I think, honestly, now, seriously, I've given up a couple of names, the finalists at big prices, and they're involved in Croatia, Belgium, and we've got Uruguay. But after last night, I think England can get to the World Cup. I've been massively against England. I think England, I honestly believe that they won't fear anybody. I think that was a massive hurdle to jump across, winning the penalty shootout. And you won't believe how much that has taken off the players' shoulders. And I think they get the World Cup final. Who they will meet, it could be any one of four. Uruguay, I think, are the value. I don't think England will win it. I think whoever they meet in the final, they get beat. But I think last night was a real turning point in English football, and I think England will get to the World Cup final. And I never thought I'd ever say those words in 25 years of doing things like this. Never.
You're more all right. And okay, so you think England will make the final? 2.5 there to reach the final. Not a bad price. Who do you see reaching the final, big man?
Belgium and Croatia at 12. Hate to say it. I got to tell you, and I've said this before, Nigel Seeley is among the best people in this business. I love doing videos with him, but I am blown away about his comments that he thinks Russia are a better side than Croatia. I just can't.
No, I didn't say no. I didn't say that. I said Croatia are a much better side than Russia. But I said,
okay. I thought you said
I never wanted. No. No, I'm not that. I'm not saying that for 1 minute. I said they're a much better. Croatia are a much better side. If I did, I didn't mean to. Well, there's no doubt about it. But the occasion and the fact they're playing the home nation in the quarterfinal is a concern for me. And if they've got the momentum with them, no, not at all. I think Croatia are a much better footballing side. But I think momentum may have got with Russia. I think this is a lot tougher match than we predict.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm going Belgium and Croatia, Natalie, at 12. I think I'm going to ride the Belgians. I'm going to ride. I as well have a future on Croatia, so I'm hoping both these two get to the finals, and I don't even have to hedge. I'm gonna get paid regardless. So yeah, listen, it's gonna be fun. I'll be interested to hear Nigel's breakdown and all the guys' breakdown on England, Croatia if we get to that level.
All right. So very quickly, we've got about 3 minutes left of this video. You're saying, Croatia, Belgium, and Belgium. You're saying to win it all, big man.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna rock with.
All right, and we've got England and who was it? Uruguay. England and Uruguay in the finals.
No. I mean, I've given my picks already on the finalists, and I'm going to stick with those picks already. I'm not going to keep changing, but I do think England have a great chance now of getting to the final after getting through that last night. I've already said my picks, which were Uruguay and Croatia. I said Croatia and who was the other one, big man in that half? I said Croatia and I can't remember now, but anyway, one other bet I like. I mean, looking through pretty much all the markets are done now. The top goal scorer market's pretty much done. Harry Kane's going to win that. I think the player of the tournament is pretty much open. Anyone can win that. But I tell you what, after last night's performance, I think Pickford's a decent price at 7-2 to win the Golden Glove. That, you know, we spoke. Me and Big Man with yourself spoke about that last week, and we mentioned the South Korea goalkeeper. And we said, there's a few. Obviously, the Croatian boy did really well, Subotic in the penalty shootout. But that Pickford penalty save was one of the best saves I've seen for a long time. His hand, strong hand, and the save just before the goal was the save of the tournament by a mile. And I think England. I think that could be the bet. If I'm looking at a parlay, I'm looking at a pick for anti-post markets now, on the markets that really are pretty wide open. I think at 3-1. 7-2 Pickford to be the top goal scorer, because I think he will get to the final, and I think that's a great price.
All right, great stuff. Very quickly, just to wrap it up, big man, any prop bets whilst we close out this video? Any prop bets that you're looking at?
Yeah, I think his play on Pickford's pretty good. I think Subasic as well at 6 to win the Golden Glove is a pretty good play. But no, I think for me, I'm going to stick with the finalists I have. One quickly, Golden Ball. I'll take a shot with Harry Kane. I think he'd be that golden boy if they can get to the final. I mean, top goal scorer, golden ball. I could see it at 5. That's not a bad play, but I'm going to stick with my my finalists and my winner net.
All right, wonderful stuff. That wraps up our futures and props heading into the quarterfinals. If you didn't catch them, we've also done match-by-match previews with some other team bankrollers and guests, which are on our YouTube channel. Thank you very much for watching, and stay tuned. Alex Zakek's coming up now. Thanks, Nigel and Big Man.
Thank you.